Okay. Broadway Joe's up next. Broadway Joe just wandered in. I saw him in the comments. Where are you? Oh, Barbary Coast. That's a great one. Yeah. So this is actually Joe's question. Hey Scott and SBL, you timed it perfectly, Joe. I hope everyone had a great holiday season. We're all back working on and playing music and knocking down some killer bass grooves. I'm now just getting back into my studies. Right now, I mean today. So my question concerns balance. I'm working through the 26-week technique accelerator, which is the greatest. Thank you so much. Boom. Awesome, Joe. Before I signed up though, I did weigh the idea that 26 weeks is kind of a long commitment. Also, that Christmas and other holidays kind of come in the middle of that time. So after a long consideration, I decided to go for it. I'm super glad I did. But now I'm way behind the goals that I set for myself at the outset. Part of being a professional player, I'm sure lots of SBL cats know, is willing to forego activities people with regular lives take for granted. New Year's brings this home for any pro musician. Nobody who's working as a musician stays at home on New Year's Eve, right? Family obligations, romantic pursuits and other life events always take a backseat to the gig, whatever that is at the time. Part of the job is resolving the tension that exists between life of the pro player and the life everyone else leads. That is creating balance. Most cats figure it out eventually, but what I'm struggling with at the moment is this. How do you create a practice between a balance between practice and work? If you have enough work to make a living, you're busy all the time. How can you practice enough to improve? I really can't afford to turn away work. Thanks to you and Sean and a bunch of other SBL cats, the recording thing is starting to work well for me, and I love to create in the recording studio, talk about genre-based studies. The thing is, every time I produce a part for a client, I hopefully push the bar higher in that performance. If I'm successful and create something that makes the client happy, the next tune or part or arrangement or production that the client calls me for is more demanding than the one I gave them the last time. So I have to keep getting better. This is great, by the way. The only way I know to get better is to find weakness in what I already can do and address those weaknesses the way that all great players have. Discover a problem, break the problem up into smaller parts, and find something to practice that fixes each part. Then practice like crazy. The SBL way, if you will. So how do you perform at one level of consistency, and carve out the time to observe how you play, discover what you need to play, to play better, and then take the specific steps to get there. Thank you and all the SBL cats out here in the academy for bass players. The deal you've created has been needed for a very long time. Awesome. Joe, you're a star, man. I can tell you how I do it, and I don't know whether this is going to be helpful or not, Joe, but I can tell you exactly what I do, because I am like full on. I've got like a lot on, and yeah, I've got a crazy lot on. So, and I really like to practice. So what I generally do is instead of trying to sit down, first of all, let me just recap. First of all, I try and find one tiny problem. So instead of working on lots of stuff, I try and just like do get really laser focused on one thing. So for me, recently I've been transcribing a player who I really want to get his lines into my playing. I've been geeking out on him for years, and I'm just like, Devine, step up, this is the time. This is the time. And so what I've done is I've got some YouTube videos and I've just been transcribing his lines. And for me, it means I'm working on a ton of different stuff off the back of this. So check it out. So first of all, I'm like learning the notes, and I'll play the line that I'm like 30 seconds into doing this. So I'm not practicing any technique, I'm not practicing any harmony, soloing, nothing. It's actually a little solo that this guy plays. But all I'm doing is transcribing this solo. And it goes 1, 2, 3. all I've got down so far. So I got the notes down, so I've just got this one tiny focus. Not working on anything else, just this one tiny focus. But off the back of that, there's like all of these things that are happening. So first of all, I look at the chord sequence that he's doing this solo on. The chord sequence is the chord sequence for Donna Lee, the jazz standard Donna Lee. And I'm like, okay, so I'm like learning a chord sequence. I'm okay. That's nice, I'm learning that. And then also, the most important thing initially is that I'm learning the notes. So I'm getting the notes down and I'm learning somebody else's language. A lot of the guys here before, I was talking about how important it is to learn other people's language so we can get the things that they're speaking, the words and the phrases that they're using on their instruments. We want to get that into our playing to broaden our own vocabulary. So I'm doing the same thing here, right? I'm learning this. And so I'm learning this, I'm like, wow, so over this chord, he does this thing, right? So, great, and then over a minor chord, like, wow, what are things? I'm like, oh, I've got that little thing, that was great, little lick there. So I wonder if I could use that in a different key. I'm playing it, you know, I'm using it. Can I use it in a groove in a different key? Do you know what I mean? Like all from that one little solo that I'm doing. And then, so I'm doing a lot of that, all to do with this little solo I'm working at. So next thing is I'm trying to get his feel down, because his feel is what is killing me. It's so good. His feel is so good. So I'm like, okay, I need to get his feel down. So, but why does he feel? Why does that? Because he's got great feel, but it feels like that because of the way he's actually playing it on the fingerboard. So that first phrase, I could play it, same notes, but I know he's going, it just sounds like it. And he's got like this really greasy way of playing. So I'm like, how do I get that greasy way of playing into my... So I'm like trying to listen to him. I'm trying to emulate the feel. So in effect, I'm working on my groove and my time by working on, you know, how do I get my groove to feel greasier like that? And then, so all of this, my point is, all of this is sort of like based around this like 20 seconds of a solo. And the reason why I picked that 20 seconds of solo is because I just love the way that he plays, and I want to get his vocabulary and feel into my vocabulary and feel. So my answer to you, Joe, would be to go really narrow in your focus. So if focusing on technique, focus on technique, like whatever it is. But the thing, like, and with me, sorry, I didn't finish here. Well, I am actually figuring out like technique stuff based in that solo, because I'm having to make my feel sound like his. Like he does this line, that, I never play that. I love the way that he plays that. And I can't get it exactly right because my technique's not right. I'm like, how is he doing that? So I'm working on my vocabulary, I'm working on my technique, I'm working on my time and groove, I'm working on my transcription chops, I'm working on my ear training, I'm learning new chord sequence, so I'm working on my repertoire. All of this based off just like this 20-second snippet of stuff of this guy's solo that I'm learning. So I think that you can get really laser focused on something and you'll still have like loads of offshoots happening. So you don't need to have like crazy wide focus, just keep it super narrow and then have like offshoots off it. And so that really helps me getting really like crazy narrowly focused on something. And then also the other thing is that I kind of like just grab practice when I can. I'll grab like 20-30 minutes here, 20-30 minutes there, and then like in an evening sometimes I can like sit down and actually sort of like do some more thoughtful practice But for me, it's definitely with where I am in my life right now, full-time business, kids, wife, you guys, you know, well, you guys like come under that full-time business, yeah, I mean, but business development and all that kind of thing. I'm really stretched, so I just sort of like fit in like half an hour here, half an hour there, and then I get to the end of the day, I'm like, well, did like, you know, an hour, 90 minutes practice today, and I just like got up maybe a little bit early and I did half an hour then, and it's kind of quite an organic way of practicing, but I like it, works for where I am now, and I think that you should definitely give it a go at least. Give it a go at least. I really like it. Hopefully that is of some help. Joe's asking, question, Scott. Dude, you don't want to see this solo. It'll be the death of you. You'll be obsessed with it. It's so good. If you want to check out the solo, how do I get this to you guys? Can I give you it? So I'll show it on my phone. Okay, so it is the guy, the dude. Actually, I'll play you it. I'll play you it. Come on. The guy's called Larry, double R, and then Danielson, but Danielson is spelt Daniel, as you would think, D-A-N-I-E-L, Daniel, double S-O-N, Danielson. He's from Denmark. Larry Danielson, bass, and it'll come up. This is the one you want. He's wearing a white hat, and it says bass solo by Lars Danielson. So he's called Larry Lars Danielson. Check this out. I'm going to put it on for you. Oh! Here we go. Check it out. I haven't learned any of this bit here now. Next level feel. Next level feel. So good. Oh. Or you can be like, well, what kind of bass player do I want to be? Because I do want to be like how Larry plays that thing. That is how I want to play. So I'm not like listening to guys like somebody that's doing pyrotechnics on bass, and I'm not chasing that at the minute. I have done in the past, but I'm not chasing it. So for me, I'm not really listening to them guys, and when I do, I don't get disheartened by it, or I do get inspired by it, but I'm not really trying to get it into my playing. But whereas I know what kind of player I am, I'm like, Larry, come on, I want to get that stuff in my playing. So that's why I feel really inspired by it. Joe saying Larry Danielson, yet another P-bass. That's a jazz player. It's a jazz, Joe. I know. Check it out. Listen back again. He's playing a jazz. And if you put Larry Danielson, EBS, like EBS amps, he's got 2 other videos there. Killer. But yeah, he's a jazz bass player. It just sounds like a P bass. Right, woo! So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for coming along. I absolutely love hanging out with you guys. We had 150 on today. That's absolutely amazing. Again, if anybody missed it as well, have a wicked one, guys. And if anybody missed it, I bought an Ampeg B15 today. So hopefully next time we do the hang, I'm gonna have the B15. It's gonna be the back. Guys, take it easy. I'll see you in the shed. Have a good one.